In this video, I want to talk about my experience buying used hard drives on eBay, solid state drives, and hard disk drives. I recommend buying used hard disk drives, and I do not recommend buying used solid state drives, but I'll get more into my reasoning and what that actually means. So, used solid state drives, I don't recommend them because the performance can vary widely than the advertised performance because you can get the lower end of the Spectrum drives, and that is what happened with me. So I bought a used Samsung NVMe Evo 970 drive, and this is what its performance is supposed to be, and this is what my performance is. Now they look pretty close, but in some ways they aren't, and in my opinion the important ones, which are the 4 kilobyte random reads and writes, mine is performing much lower than it should. So you might say, well, that's because this drive is almost full and yours is half used. But if I go ahead and go over to the benchmarks of the Evo 970, mine is performing in the 7th percentile. Now, it was performing in the 1st percentile until I updated it with the Samsung firmware, Samsung drivers. So I do not really recommend getting a used solid-state drive because I bought this drive specifically for performance. I've also bought other used solid-state drives and I've never had one fail that was used. I had a new solid-state drive fail, but I had one come dead on arrival. But I just don't really recommend it unless they're for computers that don't really matter. So if you're buying a used SATA $30 drive, go for it. But if you want the advertised performance of the solid-state drive, I would buy it new. Especially it's the kind of product that they're always improving very quickly, that the performance of a new drive will be much better anyways than the performance of 5-year-old technology. Onto the hard disk drive. So the performance in the hard disk drives really hasn't changed much recently, and I have never had a hard disk drive fail ever. I have bought 30 used hard drives on eBay, and not one of them has failed. I have had one come broken. It was an internal drive. Actually, I've had 2 come broken, and I returned them, and that's the end of that. I don't like buying internal drives just because the amount of reads and writes in them are usually a lot higher. All the external drives I've gotten, I think the max I've seen is like a terabyte written to the drive. Usually it's anywhere from 5 gigabytes to 100 gigabytes that's ever been written to the drive. So if I have a 4 terabyte hard drive, in my opinion, that's practically new or unused. I've also bought refurbished hard drives, and again, never had one fail. Sometimes with buying a used hard drive on eBay, there's user data on there that you have to delete, but that's never really an issue, and my hard drives work great. Yeah, I'm trying to think. That pretty much covers it. I recommend buying used HDD drives. I know I read a lot that that's a bad idea, but it never has been for me, and they always work and never failed. If you have any questions or comments, go ahead and leave them below, and I'll respond. Hope this helps. Thanks for watching.